was convinced that if I apply for this job, I would not get it because I was not connected to anyone. Rules-based, policy certainty, rules must be clear, and everybody plays by the rules.
South Africa's economic recovery is inseparable from the performance of its logistics backbone. After years of strain, attention has shifted from crisis management to a more difficult question: how to rebuild capability and unlock growth through meaningful partnership with the private sector. Transnet now finds itself at the center of that effort, tasked not only with stabilizing rail and ports, but with reimagining how collaboration with the industry can deliver long-term value. For more, we are joined by Michelle Phillips. Michelle, thank you so much for your time. You came into Transnet at a time of institutional stress. Take us through what has changed since you've stepped in here.
Look, there's still stress. It's not institutional anymore, I would like to believe. But yes, we came, I was fortunate enough, I call it that, because, I've been in this business for 26 years, and I had to think very hard. However, one thing that I had picked up over the years, particularly since COVID, is our business became very closed. And I was also not used to that because I come from the commercial space. When you're in the commercial space, you have to engage with your customers all the time. So we really needed to open up the business, right? And at the same time, whilst we were doing that, we were very clear and deliberate that we had to reinvent Transnet, and that's where you saw the Reinvent for Growth strategy also coming to the fore. And on that, we were then also very clear about what are the things that we need to do. We need to optimize our operations, and then we need to transform, and we have to embrace the reform because we do intend to grow, right? I think what has helped us as well is that we've seen a lot more certainty in the policy environment. We've seen business and government working together with the state-owned entities, and those are the things that we've had to work through. So you don't see us, operating in this crisis mode anymore. We integrate as this is the value chain. So all of the stakeholders and parties that are involved in that value chain, let's work together in an integrated way to get the best out of the value chain. So you'll see, we have corridor approaches. So we deal with the ore corridor, we deal with the coal corridor, manganese corridor, and we plan jointly with customers. We really had to of course, spend time with our employees, get them to understand the importance of opening up Transnet. We had to spend time with our salespeople, getting them to understand that their job is to create freight solutions for customers. We're not in the business of turning away cargo. We are in trouble. And in order to do that, we need to start rebuilding relationships. And those are the things, that we've had to do over that period. But we also had a population of employees who were quite traumatized, quite battered. We came out of COVID. Many of us had lost colleagues and family members, and people were battered and torn. And we had to deal with a lot of the hurt also over that period. And when you go into Transnet now, I'm seeing a lot more energy, a lot more rejuvenation, a lot more, we are excited to be here, a lot more patriotism. Because what they were also feeling is every time you read in the newspaper, it's like people think we are so useless. And yet we have so many people with such, with skills in the organization who just wanted to do what they came there to do. And we had to, allow that. So stress, I think, will always be there. But I think, when it comes to the institution itself, I think, I believe with all of the reforms that we've embraced, the way we are restructuring our business, reinventing ourselves, I think, we are dealing with a better Transnet, who is then also able to give the South African economy what it requires.
I want to focus a little bit about what you said on the employees here. How hard was it for them to trust? Because for them to want to open up, and yes, they care about their jobs, they care about, what they do, and they want to believe in the vision in terms of where we're going. Was that trust element a bit of an issue for you and the team to deal with in getting the employees to buy in to the fact that, guys, this is what we're trying to do, and please follow me, so to speak?
So it's an interesting one, I had to start with my immediate team because it's always important when you are engaged in a turnaround or any transformation initiative is to sort of build that critical mass, right? Now, if the people that are reporting to me have a trust deficit and don't believe that I have their interests at heart, can you imagine what they're going to be telling the people who work for them, right? And that's how you build this, and you go, and then, the rest fall. It's like a flash mob kind of thing, right? So everybody expected, and I've seen it firsthand, right? I've seen a number of chief executives come into Transnet, whether it be in the operating divisions or at the group level. The first thing they do, for the most part, they get rid of the first level that reports to them, right? I've never worked that way. I firmly believe that I need to turn people, that I need to make them understand that actually I do have their interests at heart and they need to trust me. It helped me a little bit that I've come through the ranks and that, most of the people at the bottom knew me already, okay? But I needed to get my team that reports to be the group EXO to understand, because they came with my predecessor. And everybody thought I was going to fire the lot, right? And my view was the job must get done. And I needed to build trust with that team. And only to discover that, like I said, here we have a group of people, highly competent, highly skilled, wanting to do certain things, and I need to give them the freedom to be able to do what is best, because that's my counsel. They're there to say to me, CEO, not this way, maybe this way, still respecting why I am there. And I needed to work with that team, and that team needed to, to go to the rest of the business. We've done, it's a big transformation intervention. There are over 50,000 employees in Transnet, right? We had a number of engagements. I can't get to everybody, so we do these like road shows, or we do broadcast and the like. Now and then they set up like these kind of conversations, and I can, somehow reach people that way. And we've had people going into the various operating divisions as well. We needed people to understand where we were at. The person, it doesn't matter what your job was, you needed to understand where this business was at, what we needed to do to instill confidence and trust again in our customers, in our investors, what it is that I was doing, because I'm not the kind of leader who sits in an office, and also they needed to understand what I was busy with and how we were trying to save the organization. And like I said, at the end of the day, I'm very proud of all of these employees. We've succeeded in arresting a 5-year decline, which would have been worse if people did not pull together. Yes, we had the help of customers, we had the help of other stakeholders, our funders, but at the end of the day, it's the people on the ground who do the work, and they've really, really come to the party.
How would you assess the trust between yourselves as Transnet with your creditors and the investors and the stakeholders? What does it look like now that we're on this path?
I can tell you, you can go to any of the Transnet funders. Yes. They will talk to you about a train. Mm-hmm. They will talk to you about what a locomotive is. They can tell you what a ship-to-shore crane is. They can tell you what an RTG is. They can tell you what a wagon is. Because from day one, October 2023, when I was first asked to act, I was very firm. Mr. Treasurer, we need to go and speak to the funders. And we went. right? Because we needed them to understand where we are at again, what it is that we are doing, so that we can build that confidence. Some of them didn't want to talk to us in the past because, for whatever reason, the doors were shut. We went, we had a bond auction now, I think it was in October. We went to the market for 5 billion rand. 5 billion. We were 8.5 times oversubscribed. They offered us 42 billion. I'm in too much debt, so I couldn't take it all. So I had to take 5. And I think that's the kind of confidence that we are seeing. With the reform, you know that we are introducing the private train operating companies. They are going to these banks for funding, And we've pretty much set let me call it prepared the landscape for them as they start engaging with these funders, because they understand our business intimately right now.
We're here at the Mining Indaba, and I'm curious here the role that the mining sector may have played in the stabilization phase when it comes to Transnet. What was that relationship like in the beginning as you were having these conversations?
Well, firstly, they were calling for leadership to be fired. So, again, exactly like we did with the funders, every customer needed to be engaged. They are part of, bodies like the Minerals Council, Ore Users Forum, the Kroll. All of these people we had to go and engage because we needed to rebuild trust. Now, when you are not meeting the service levels of your customers, unfortunately, now you have to explain every little thing. I mean, if you're meeting your customer service levels, they're not interested how you do it, okay? Here's now customers having an opportunity to actually get into the depth and what it is that we do for them, We had to go to various chambers. We had to go to, Business for SA, the NLCC. We had to go and do all of those things, have the engagements, set up the structures, say, come and work together with us. We had joint planning. And yes, we boxed a few times, but at the end of the day, with a common goal, I think we were clearly able to understand that, trust these people, allow them to do what they need to do, and let's move forward. But we needed to show, in fact, the promise that we made, our commitment was, work with us, you will not be worse than the year before. The experts, when they came into the room, they said to us, if you continue on this trajectory, we were going to, I think that year, they were forecasting 149 was the previous year. They said, you're going to end up at about 138. We weren't going to allow that. And we ended that year at 151. Small change, but it could have been so much worse if we didn't, do the kind of things that we did. That show of, we think these people have bottomed out, and it's going in a different direction now. That also added to the trust and reduced a little bit of the trust deficit. I think now, we are joined at the hip. We are talking to each other all the time. We have joint planning sessions. It's really integrated the way the systems work and how we are engaging with each other.
Looking back at that entire process, what would you say are some of the lessons learned here in terms of how we approach partnerships, how we approach risk sharing, and all the aspects that come around that?
Look, the relationships are important. When the relationships are important, negotiation is negotiation, right? If you want to go into a partnership, you really want to get to a point where it's a win-win for everybody. That on itself requires a level of trust. We've learned quite a lot. Remember, we went to market with the Peer 2 partnership. We went to market. We ended up in court for 2 years. And we've learned a lot of lessons out of that one. So I'm often confronted by industries saying, you're taking too long, you're taking too long, you're taking too long. And I say, you know what, I'd rather prioritize and do this in a structured manner than rush something and then end up in court for 2 years or more. It's not helping anybody. Let's work together. Let's see how this thing, what is best. We bring in the transaction advisors. We get them to work with us on every transaction. And when we're ready, we go to the market. We've got about 4 or 5 transactions that we're going to take to the market this year.
Yeah.
It's a lot for an entity that has not done this before. You know, it's taken us a long time to embrace the fact that you are not going to do this on your own. There's no telling people that it's a take it or leave it. Transnet will do it all. No. We have to, meet the minister's target. We can't do it as Transnet on our own. We need private partners, and that's why we have to embrace the reform and go to market and do what needs to be done. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping that as we roll out these transactions, that the lessons come to the fore. But look, we're being supported as well through the processes that was run by the minister on the RFI. We clear, I think, what the industry wants, where they feel they can help us. At the same time, we've set up the PSP unit within the DBSA. And we've resourced that, so we've got some experts that's going to make sure that as these things go to market, that they properly governed, so to speak. Yeah.
As I'm about to shift gears when it comes to the conversation, I want to still focus in on the lessons here. What is the one thing you believe you learned about yourself as a leader during that process, when you look back on it?
Somebody asked me the other day at the conference in a question and answer, are you okay?
Are you okay?
Are you okay? And I was like, oh my God, because you don't think about, and it was, and I realized, this is a very important question. Yeah. I learned, look, I've always believed that anything is possible if you build relationships, if you trust, and if you do things in an inclusive way, right? And I mean, that's really been my journey in Transnet. My training teaches me problem solving. So for a while in the business, if a chief executive wanted something done, he would say, Michelle, I have a problem here. And I would go and deploy people and rally the teams. And, there was a time they called me the fixer, but not in the bad sense, yes. A proper fixer. So I had to pull on those. I was very skeptical. I did not want this job. Did not want it. I did not want to be seen as a deployment. I did not want to be seen as a political appointment. And I believe that in fact, I was convinced that if I apply for this job, I would not get it because I was not connected to anyone. I was just a girl from the township who worked hard to get out of circumstances. And I worked in Transnet, and yes, I would get the promotions due to that hard work. But I always said to myself, GCE was not in my plans. I'm the type of person who, in fact, is the counsellor. I believed that I want to whisper in the boss's ear, and the boss must listen, and we will then progress. I never saw myself as the boss. In fact, I thought that even whispering in the boss's ear is the more powerful position. Yeah. So I saw myself as the advisor and the counselor. And then this thing came along, and I also needed to see if all of the support I had in the organization would remain, or if people were going to disappear. And I have to say, I have really been embraced by my people, my staff, the employees in Transnet. Yes, I mean, I've organized labor, we have difficult conversations, but I think ultimately my reputation of being respectful, honest, no nonsense, but nice, I suppose also firmly, anything is possible if you get what you want, if you really want it, so you make things work. So anyway, I mean, I was convinced that this is where I needed to be, and I thought, you know what, let's see. Hopefully, I'll get the support, and I have to admit, I have had a lot of support. If I haven't had that, I probably would have run away a few times. But people are keeping me here. And it helps if you love what you do.
You mentioned that you are an advisor and you saw yourself as someone who whispers in the CEO's ear. There are a lot of CEOs here, and we've been talking about collaboration and partnership, etc. If you had to whisper into a CEO's ear and they wanted to learn from you and your experience about what the non-negotiables are when it comes to SOE private partnerships, what are the non-negotiables? What's the one thing you would say to the CEO to bear in mind as they walk this path?
No breaking the rules.
No breaking the
rules must be clear. The rules must be clear. We go to market. We want open processes. You put your best foot forward, right? You put your best foot forward, and you need to accept the results because you need to trust us with this process. The rules must be clear. I have people coming to me every day with a proposal, and I must say to them, no.
Yeah.
But that's how we will run the process. Everybody wants to partner with us, and we are not going to do anything out of process. Okay. I'm not going to go to any commission. I refuse. So rules-based, policy certainty, rules must be clear, and everybody plays by the rules.
As we wrap up the conversation, what does the next phase for Transnet look like?
So the transactions are very important. We ensuring that they are bankable. I mean, Mining Indaba is so important for us now because I think it is mining that makes these things bankable. We have certainty in terms of volumes going forward. Whoever wants to get involved, they need to know. So for us, I've got, like I said, at least 4 transactions that will go to the market this year, and we want the market to participate. Then we are busy with the 11 train operating companies for whom we've given a conditional award. We want to see them get onto the system because we've got a 250 million ton country target that we need to achieve. We need continued stability when it comes to our employees and labor. So we'll continue to work on those relationships. And we've got some reforms that we're busy executing on, TNPA corporatization, TRIM corporatization, the regulated entities. So yeah, that's, I think, the focus for the next year. And then volumes. We need to move volumes. We need to make money. Transit needs to get into the black. I think that will instill further confidence. And I would like to deliver that at the end of this financial year, a Transnet that is no longer in the red.
All the best. Thank you so much for your time. Well, for more mining insights, you can go to miningindaba.com.